Kamala Harris is the only person in the Senate Judiciary Committee who consistently bifalicious Republicans. Exhibit 1, Brett Kavanaugh.
Did you watch Dr. Ford's testimony?
I did not. I plan to.
Thank you.
Exhibit 2, Bill Barr.
I think you've made it clear that you've not looked at the evidence. We can move on. I think you've made it clear, sir, that you've not looked at the evidence, and we can move on.
Boy, would she be a great president. The only question now is, where will she announce?
I was wondering if you wanted to formally announce that you are running for president here on my show, Full Frontal with Samantha B.
Yeah, Samantha, I already announced many weeks ago.
Okay, but could you just do it? It'd be amazing.
I am Kamala Harris, and I am proud to announce that I am running for President of the United States.
This is such a big deal for me. Thank you so much. We covered you in plastic. Thank you. Oh, what a big deal. In your face, Stephen Colbert.
Now that we have that out of the way, let's get into the reason we're at a public school, to talk about Senator Harris's plan to take care of teachers. Buckle up, it's about to get real wonky.
Thousands of teachers are leaving the profession every year because they can't afford to teach and put food on the table, raising their own families. So I am proposing what would be the first in the history of our country, federal investment in closing the teacher pay gap.
Are you saying that we should stop paying teachers a babysitter's wage?
Yeah, teachers make on average 11% less than similarly college-educated professionals, which is approximately $13,500 a year.
Wouldn't it be nice if we didn't have to endure another GoFundMe for pencils?
Well, this is the point though, right? 94% of the teachers come out of their own pocket to pay for school supplies.
So you're proposing a wage increase across the board?
Yes.
To public school teachers?
Yes. Let's pay them their value, and let's recognize that they are doing some of the most noble, honorable work that any one human being can do for another.
Let's play devil's advocate.
Okay.
And I'm gonna read a quote to you.
Okay.
We don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. Hey, teacher, leave those kids alone.
There is that.
Senator Harris plans to pay for this by raising the estate tax of the richest 0.5% of Americans. Surely Republicans are going to get behind an increase in taxes, right? I'm sorry, I couldn't get through it.
Do you feel like red states are gonna go for this?
They already are going for it. I mean, a state like Arizona, I mean, you saw the teachers of West Virginia, Utah. There are, the issue of educating our children is not a partisan issue. It's like literally not even a bipartisan issue, it's a nonpartisan issue.
I feel like you're suggesting that people could agree on something.
Yeah, and like we agree that we have more in common than what separates us.
Sorry, I don't really remember what that is like.
And no one's going to remember what this teacher pay plan is called unless it has a catchy name. Good news, that's my specialty.
I have a couple of options for
Yeah,
you.
give me, okay.
I just want to hear them.
I
Okay,
do.
the Patriot Eagle pay raise plan for America's heroes.
I love it, and I can hear a trumpet in the background. I really like that.
Okay, the Arm Every Teacher with Dollars Act. This one's a little long, but I like it. The Fortunately Using Cash Keeps Better Educators Teaching. Soon you'll deliver equality. Very obvious. Oh, Act.
I don't know. I don't think that's gonna sell in some places.
Okay.
And the Sam B branded Betsy DeVos Act isn't the only thing Kamala Harris has up her sleeve. She supports the Green New Deal, has a plan for tax reform, and she's even rebooting the Avengers movie franchise. I'm just kidding, but she is prepared, and that is scaring the shit out of all kinds of voters, even the hate voters.
Everyone can see through the tragedy that is Kamala Harris talking about economics.
Kamala Harris, I don't know, would do better pursuing maybe a career as a DJ?
Shame on Kamala Harris. She needs to understand if she runs for president, we will not be voting for her.
How does she handle the critics?
You know what? I eat no for breakfast. I eat no for breakfast.
I eat eggs.
No, I eat no for breakfast.
Oh, God.
Someone says it can't be done. I can't hear that.
I feel like it would be remiss of me not to conclude this conversation by asking you about your complete dismantling of Attorney General Barr and Brett Kavanaugh. Would you please Senate hearing me?
Sure,
Oh,
sure,
sure.
Thank you. Please answer the question.
Can I buy a vowel?
Is that a yes or no?
Oh, God. It hurts so good.
Imagine how good it's gonna feel when she goes up against Trump on the debate stage. Biden's not running, right, guys? Oh, he is. Okay, all right, well.
The 2020 election is only 650 days away. Wow! That's barely 4 Fast and Furiouses from now. It's nice to know that no matter what's happening in the world, you can always count on more vroom vrooms and boom booms. Yes, the 2020 election is already in full swing and the future is looking female. So far, Elizabeth Warren, Kirsten Gillibrand, Kamala Harris, and Tulsi Gabbard have announced their runs, and Amy Klobuchar is likely to run too. Holy 5 women, that is amazing! If you had told me we'd have this many female presidential candidates 20 years ago, I would have said bucket hats and yellow sunglasses will never go out of style. Happy 1999. But look at America now! There are several exciting women running for president, and also Tulsi Gabbard. Having this many women in the field means that the defining characteristic of each candidate won't just be it the woman. Now that there are so many ladies running, maybe we can stop talking about the tone or volume of their voice, their outfits, or their marriages, and instead judge them based on their ideas and experience. I'm just joking. No, it's gonna be a total nightmare. After Kirsten Gillibrand announced her candidacy, this was the first question at her press conference.
I think a lot of people see you as pretty likable, a nice person. Is now, how much is a selling point?
Kirsten, I'll take this one. F*** off. How is this your first question? You've had 2 years to think of something less sexist. But Politico is also very concerned about Elizabeth Warren's likability. Just hours after she announced her campaign, Politico asked, how does Warren avoid a Clinton redux written off as too unlikable before her campaign gets off the ground? Here's one way, by not writing a whole f***ing article about a candidate's likability before her campaign gets off the ground. That's like wondering, how do I avoid cheating on my husband? Well, you have a stranger's dick in each one of your hands. It's also wild that Politico would play dumb when they were constantly peddling sexist takes about Hillary, or should I say the grandma-in-chief. Stop wondering aloud what the media will or will not do when you are the media. This is up to you. But Tucker Carlson thinks we're overreacting to the likability question.
This is baffling to me, and I say this as someone who's been called unlikable countless times over 20 years. It doesn't seem like a sex-specific criticism. And again, I'm saying this as an unlikable person.
Yes, you are, but don't sell yourself short. You're also a white supremacist. People who are definitely not sexist love to point out that men can be unlikable too.
They're leaving out men, right? So Mitt Romney, Al Gore, John Kerry, also unlikable.
There have been a number of male candidates, male politicians who've been called unlikable. You know, John Edwards is one of them.
That's a good point. John Edwards cheated on his cancer-stricken wife, then spent donor money to keep his pregnant mistress a secret. Elizabeth Warren decided to run for president. You know, of course, there's more to being a woman candidate than likability. In the words of every mean girl ever, you also have to stop trying so hard. What is Elizabeth Warren even doing drinking beer?
Elizabeth Warren with the beer
That's
thing,
right.
trying to make him look more likable. Again, I think at the end of the day...
Was she more likable when you saw that?
No, because it was incredibly awkward and it was clear that she probably doesn't drink beer a whole lot.
Oh, you like beer? Name 10 of their albums. Fox News will be the judge of a true, authentic political moment. There's only ever been one.
You know what they're trying to do, Michael? They're trying to relive a real moment. Bill Clinton playing the saxophone in Arsenio did work. It was real. He plays the saxophone. He played with the band. People thought that was great.
I think there's some kind of likability factor that people are going for there. I remember when Bill Clinton went on and played the saxophone. I think she's trying to hope to be more. Good stuff.
Bill Clinton was real. He really played the saxophone. He is a cool guy. That's real.
Absolutely. If there's one thing we remember about Bill Clinton, it's his saxophone performance, which proved he really is a cool guy that's real. In fact, you might remember Republicans trying to replicate this moment in 2016 when they had Jeb Bush followed by a man playing sad trombone. And of course, Kamala has the added bullshit of being a black woman, something news outlets are treating more like a branding decision than her identity. BuzzFeed said Kamala's decision to announce her candidacy on Martin Luther King Day is a clear signal that her presidential run is likely to embrace her identity as a black woman, which is a real disappointment to all her fans who were hoping she'd run as a 10-year-old Finnish boy. Come on, shake it up, Kamala. The real problem is that men don't have to worry about this crap. I mean, Jesus, they barely need to worry about being Democrats. Of course, some men do make mistakes, but that can always be blamed on a woman, too. Gillibrand may have hurt her own chances at higher office by pushing for Al Franken to resign.
Some Democratic donors don't like how the newly declared Senator Gillibrand called for Senator Al Franken's resignation over groping accusations. There is some grumbling because to many progressives, Al Franken was a star.
And of course, when you're a star, they let you do it. All of this has happened in the last 3 weeks. We are not off to a good start. When we frame women candidates like this right off the bat, it becomes impossible to actually discuss them with nuance down the line. Everything's either, yes, queen, you woke up flawless, or burn, witch. This is a real fucking problem. And it's not that women are too sensitive or that they don't want the same tough treatment that male candidates get. The same treatment is exactly what we want. Don't talk about women's voices, hair, children, husbands, volume, or so-called likability. Press them on their refusal to apologize to tribal communities, a concerning history as a prosecutor, a bad pre-Senate record on guns and immigration, where they are on healthcare, and, oh, Tulsi, honey, no, there's just too much. Bring whatever political fire you want. Just make sure you're going just as hard on their male counterparts. You know, most of you are probably too young to remember this, but there was a presidential election in 2016. It should have been exciting to cover the first major female presidential candidate, but because of the way people talked about Hillary, it was actually agony. Every day was like death by 1,000 think pieces that all said, smile more. When you talk about female candidates this way, it hurts all of us. So please, 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 let's all do better this time, or so help us God, we are all gonna learn to play the saxophone. The pandemic has brought about the very real possibility that millions of Americans will be disenfranchised in the 2020 presidential election. This week, I sat down with California Senator Kamala Harris to talk about her efforts to safeguard voting in the time of Corona. The best part of sheltering in place is that people are finally answering my prank calls. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. I know that running for vice president must be a very full schedule for you.
Oh, Samantha. Honestly, seriously, my head is so not there. Honestly, my head is so not there.
But I do have a follow-up question. How are you going to balance being the VP, but also being the Attorney General?
I want that so bad! But we're in a universe where no one is getting what they want except Mitch McConnell, who'd rather play Animal Crossing than let the Senate get back to work.
We should be working on the next bill to bring relief to families, to the now over 26 million people who just in 5 weeks lost their jobs, to the children of our nation who are food insecure. But there has been such a failure of leadership, in particular out of the White House.
It's so desperate. The stakes are so high. Do you have days where you wake up and you go, oh, I don't know what to do today?
My days are more about trying to contain the bad words that would come out my mouth if I were saying how I was feeling at that moment. Often the word that starts with an M and ends with a.
Deeply familiar.
Particular around, certain times of day when I'm watching certain press conferences.
Oh, I hear you, Senator.
The nation should be able to rely on the president to speak truth, to embrace science. But you have a Donald Trump. who downplays the virus, who wants to place blame on others, who then is trying to muzzle the experts, and who is slow to act, who is inconsistent.
Yeah, on that subject, how would you put together the COVID Commission to investigate the abundant failures of the Trump administration? And please feel free to use as much detail as needed.
Right. So Adam Schiff and I, together with others, have a piece of legislation that would create a commission that is about requiring accountability and consequence. That would get started in February of 2021.
The fact that you believe that there's going to be a 2021 is already giving me hope.
Hope, something that's been in short supply, especially if you're not a white dude.
The disparities that have long existed based on race are now highlighted. So one of the things I'm calling for around this pandemic is that we make decisions about where the resources should go based on that issue.
Why do you think so many other members of Congress have so much trouble calling this systemic racism? Is it because they have never faced anything like this in their entire natural-born lives?
I think it is because there is a problem in general that America does not want to deal with its history on the issue of race. And so they don't want to call the problem what it is because they don't like the form of the solution.
But while people are being distracted by, well, staying alive, Kamala Harris is keeping her eye on the ball because, you say it.
Do you know that William Barr, the Attorney General of the United States, has lawyers in courtrooms in America right now trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, which brought healthcare to 30 million people who didn't have it?
What the hell?
There's so much about this that is just backwards, excuse my language, about how people are approaching this moment. This is the moment when you lift other people up, everyone is lifted.
I need you to give the press conferences in the afternoon.
Or
Can you just take over?
One person, just Fauci.
But Brad Pitt isn't the president, and unless we vote Trump out of office, we're kind of totally 100% doomed.
How are you going to ensure that we can all vote?
So my Vote Safe Act says, one, let's require voting by mail to make sure that all states have early voting at least 20 days before election day, so you can do it according to your schedule.
How do you think that Republicans will explain trying to block your act?
Here's the thing, the president knows that if there is vote by mail and it is available to all Americans, then it is very likely that he would lose. He is not a winner in terms of what our country.
He is not a winner.
He's not winning for us.
I agree, Madam Vice Attorney President General. I agree.
Now, you are the candidate that I would like to have a beer with. Yeah. Here we are in a public school, so.
That's fantastic. Yay! Cheers.
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 Ting. Okay. Okay, tell me about your tax plan.
So I am proposing what we have named the LIFT Act.
I'm going to take some quick notes.
Okay. Families that make less than $100,000 a year, they receive a tax credit of up to $6,000.
Okay.
And people ask, well, how are you going to pay for it? On day one, I'm going to repeal that tax bill that they passed that benefited the top 1% and the biggest corporations in this country.
Okay, I took some really good notes.
Okay.
Aw, thanks for watching. If you'd like to hear more from Full Frontal, hit subscribe and visit our page for more videos. Or if you'd like to be radicalized, leave YouTube on autoplay.